And welcome to Mike Ferry TV. Isn't it amazing? Here we are already, well into the month of February. 5 to 6 weeks already done. How have you done? You wrote a plan, you set a goal, you have some idea what you want to do. You're going to have X number of listings, you're going to make X number of sales, X amount of money. Divide that by 12, that's what you should be doing each month, knowing, of course, that you're not going to do exactly equally the same amount each month. You're going to have peaks and valleys. So one of the things I suggest all the time is have you looked carefully at which 6 to 7 months a year are the most productive for you. For example, if you live in an area where the winters are severe and heavy, usually business will drift a little bit, then it comes back in the spring. If you live in an area, for example, in the desert or in some parts of Florida, where it's very, very warm and very, very hot and humid, maybe your business takes place a little better in the winter time. I always suggest that you look at the trends for your market, look at your last 3 or 4 years of productivity, really monitor when your business is coming, when the ebbs and flows take place, because the ebbs and flows always take place. It's part of life. But we also know that you can control the ebbs and the flows of the business. If you're spending a couple hours a day in lead generation, you're spending a half an hour in lead follow-up, if you're honestly pre-qualifying every single buyer and seller, if you're sending out the pre-listing package to the sellers the way we ask, if you're going out and you're going to make a professional presentation to those sellers on a listing presentation, if you really follow the scripts, if you have the answers to the objections, if you close, you're going to do deals no matter what the weather is, what the time of year is. The question is, of course, how bad do you want it? Last week I mentioned to you we had a top 10 list, and we've had these coming to us now, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, 8 months. And from the October retreat, November, December, January, February, 4 months, we've accumulated several hundred more. I bet we've accumulated 500 of these great top 10 lists. And if you attended the retreat, as you know, we send one out every Monday and Thursday to all the attendees. By the way, are you going to go back to the retreat this year? I had a great situation take place. We did our very first Superstar retreat 28 years ago, probably at least 28 years ago in Newport Beach. We had 75 people there. I had to fight to get 75 people there at that first retreat. Well, a year later, we do our second retreat. And I'll never forget this. It's an hour before the retreat starts on Tuesday, and I'm up in the front of the room kind of getting organized, and there's people out in the hall getting ready to come in. And this lady walks up to me, and, she was kind of a gruff-looking lady, had a nice smile, but I could tell this lady was a tough person. And she walks up and she goes, "Are you Mike Ferry?" I said, "Yes, ma'am, I am." "I was at your retreat last year." I said, "Well, thank you, and I'm glad you're back." "Well, let me ask you a question." I said, "Sure, what is it?" "Are you going to cover the same stuff this year you covered last year?" I said, "Well, ma'am, quite honestly, I don't recall what I covered last year. Do you recall?" "I don't know." I said, "Well, then what difference does it make? Sit down and shut up." Well, do you honestly believe, for those that attended the retreat, or those that have gone to an action workshop or a sales talk workshop or a productivity school, do you actually believe that you're going to remember 100% of what we taught you at that event? It's gone within 24 hours. 7 days, it's a blank in our heads. Why do you think we ask you to practice all the time? Role play, have accountability partners, keep involved, because it's the only way we can penetrate that wonderful brain of yours, get the information into your subconscious mind, and get the information activated and being used all the time. So watch July and October, 2 big retreats. At this retreat coming up in July, I'm going to spend 4 days. Day 1 on mindset, every aspect of what I know to strengthen your mind to make you a tough real estate agent. Day 2 on skills. What are the skills I believe you have to know to become a better agent than you are? Day number 3, production. What are the production-based thoughts required for a great agent like you to soar to the top? And day 4, profitability and money. How do we accumulate as much money as we can to make our life better? If you haven't been to a retreat, it might be a good idea to sign up. Call the office, get registered. If you've been there before, we want to see you back. Well, top 10 list, okay? And this is from our client Ray. And if you remember last week, I talked about the diversity of ideas that come to us in these top 10 lists. I mean, they're night and day. I was trying to figure out, I think we've received in excess of 700, 750 now so far. We have a big stack that I've accumulated. Every top 10 list is a little unique. Every top 10 list is a different perception of what I said during that 4-day retreat. Excuse me. And it'd be fun for you to take a look now, if you watched last week, to compare Dawn's perception to Ray's. Here's Ray's list. Number 1, tell the sellers what I do by using the listing plan of action. You know, there's a couple thoughts here. First of all, many sellers will say, I've got 3 basic questions I have to have answered. What is my home going to sell for? How long will it take? And what will you do to get it sold? And Ray is bright enough to understand that that third question many times is the tipping point in your favor to get you a contract signed. They're going to ask you what you're going to do. They're going to ask you to cut the commission. These are things that people ask. The plan of action is designed to support you to make sure you get that contract signed. Number 2, walk into the listing presentation, listen to this, with the scripts in your hand, completely written out, and then write down the answers. Do you want to make somebody feel real important? When they say something, write down what they said. Talk about a fast way to get people on your side. The fastest way to get somebody drawn in outside of a smile and your enthusiasm is write down what they say. But walk in with the scripts in your hand, because Ray is confident enough, as I am, to sit here today and have the scripts right in my hand. Number 3, have fun. Make people laugh. Laugh at yourself. Use humor to release stress. Fastest way to release stress, smile, enthusiasm, a little bit of humor. And Ray figured out that if you use a little bit of humor, it relieves the stress. Why? Because every seller is experiencing stress. And most of the time, you as an agent are experiencing stress. Number 4, use more self-discipline in your daily activities. You know, if you were being paid $500,000 a year, you're being paid $40,000, $50,000 a month salary. Do you think your boss, the owner of the company, would require certain things to be done every day? What do you think? The answer is yes. Well, we're independent contractors. We don't have that relationship. So therefore, the boss is the person in the mirror. And if the person in the mirror does not have discipline, guess what? You can't succeed at a high level. Watch number 5. Massive amounts of accountability in each and every day. The more accountability you have, the better chance you have. How strong is your levels of accountability? Here's an excuse that I hear every day. I don't want people knowing what I do. I don't want to commit to people. I do my own thing. Watch, loser almost every time. If there's no accountability, guess what? How do we know if you're progressing towards the objectives, the plan, the goals, the dreams, the production you want? Number 6, listen to this. Purchase 1 nice listing outfit every month. Isn't that interesting? See, listen to what he heard. Okay? Go in feeling confident because of your apparel. Number 7, don't let complacency run your life. Complacency, the disease of the human spirit. That's where you're comfortable with everything. Everything in life is just fine and you're not going to change a thing. Worst thing that you can experience. Number 8, put the amount of a commission check, listen carefully, on each lead card. What I had suggested to the group is you have a lead card and they're going to buy a $500,000 home, and 3% of $500,000 is $15,000, and you're on a 70% split, so you're going to get, $11,500. Write the amount of the commission check on the lead card. Talk about motivating. Talk about getting your attention. Get up in the morning, look at your lead card. Oh my gosh, if I don't call these people, that's how much money I'm going to lose. Number 9, it takes much more time to get good at something than we think. Don't give up on yourself. What I talked about was the fact that the time we invest and the amount of energy we put into self-improvement is enormous. We don't always see, you don't see the little changes you're making every day as you improve. But over the course of 3 weeks, a month, 6 months, 18 months, 2 years, watch, a whole new person is manifested and a new great salesperson starts to evolve, which is what we're trying to do. And number 10, quit comparing yourself to others. Be yourself. Be better every day. Now, I don't know if you had listened to last week's Mike Ferry TV, but listen to what Ray said, he saw and heard, and then listen back to what Dawn said, she saw and heard. I mean, these two are night and day. They couldn't be any farther apart. Well, each week as you watch Mike Ferry TV, and if you're involved in coaching or go to our training seminars, our productivity schools and action workshops, and our retreats, and all the programs we do, each time you go, you'll hear something different. Keep watching, keep listening, keep learning, keep growing, and we'll have more fun together. I'll talk to you next week.